Okay, in this video we're going to cover what's called a navigation mesh. This is telling the Unity game engine where an NPC or NPC-like object can go and where it cannot go. Now they call it AI navigation, but it's not really artificial intelligence, but I think it either means something different or they thought it would be cute to call it that. So we're going to go here to Window, Package Manager, go to Unity Registry, type AI up here, and you'll see AI navigation. I have it already installed. You'll have it installed, maybe a download and install, but install it. So when you hit the install button, pause this video, and then when the install is finished, come back and hit resume. So I'm going to close this. So we're back. You've installed the AI navigation system. Now, so what we need to do after installing is we need to go to Game Object, AI, Nav Mesh Service. And we're going to click this. And that's going to give us, it's going to add a nav mesh surface. And you can move this, it's just another object. You can rename it, move it anywhere you want. But I leave it as nav mesh surface so I know what it is. And you can make more, and I'll explain that here. Here for example, the default type is humanoid, arms and legs. The default area that it's going to map is a walkable area. You can map an area that's not walkable, or you can map an area that's jumpable, or you can edit some settings. We're not going to go into the details. We're not going to go into the details of this right now. It's all available on Google, but we're just going to do the basics today. And so this means that the humanoid will have, it'll assume the humanoid's radius is 5. That means the total width is 1, but the radius, which is half of the diameter, is 5. And the height is 2 units, and then it can go up a 45-degree incline. So if we had some hills here, it would say that it can go up to a 45-degree incline. And if it was steeper than that, it won't go up it. We're going to be adding a bear character, at least in mine. You may add another character, different kind of character. You can get a wolf or a dog or a cat or a robot or whatever you want to get. If you get a robot, you better set it to humanoid. But if we're going to do a bear or a wolf or something, I've included in the starter kit one called bear, which also works for wolf or anything that's four-legged like that. It's probably a smart name for four-legged, but I just called it bear because that was the first one I did. Now you'll notice that it changed the height to 1 instead of 2, and it changed the radius to 1 instead of 0.5. This means that for 2 meters, it's 2 meters, or not, it's 2 units wide, and it's 1 unit high. So a bear can't, the center of the bear can't get as close to this rock as a human can, because the bear is wider and longer, right? So, and then a bear in this case can't go greater than 29.1, and I don't know why I set that. It was probably related to the original game I put it in. So anyway, so we've got the nav mesh surface. We understand the basics. We've got bear selected because in this little video or the next video we're going to add a bear. And then you hit the bake button. Okay? And it does something, you don't see anything. And you go over to this, which you may not have noticed before. If this doesn't exist, let me hide it. If that didn't exist, you go to these 3 dots and you click Overlay Menu from these 3 dots and you turn on the AI navigation menu. And then you go here and you go to Surfaces and you say Show Nav Mesh. Now we hit Bake over here, and now we're going to show the nav mesh, and there it is. That's given a radius of 1 and a height of 1. These are all the areas that something that is 1 unit wide and 1 unit tall can go to without rubbing up against it or trying to be inside the tree or rock or something. It does kind of have an error. Our trigger here that we're using for our stuff falling, it thinks it's real and that it's solid. And so the human can, what's going to be there, the player can walk through it, and so can the bear. The script, I believe we said if, on the trigger collision, I think we said if the tag name is player, then make things fall. But we didn't say if it's bear, so the bear can go through it and it won't affect it at all. And if it does affect it, we'll just change the script a little bit to make sure it does not include the bear. But anyway, but we want the bear to be able to walk through here, but right now it can't because it saw this. So I'm going to click on gravity trigger and I'm going to temporarily disable it. And by disabling it, it's as if it wasn't there. So I'm going to go back to nav mesh service. I'm going to say bake again, like oops, we did made a mistake. And this time there was nothing there, so the bear can walk through it. We can't forget, go back to whatever we disabled. And sometimes you disable 3 or 4 things. So make sure you remember what you disabled. And then re-enable it. So now it's there, but the bear can walk up to it and through it. There's no un-nav mesh area. All right, let's see. I'm going to go back to nav mesh surface. I think that's done. When we add a bear, we're going to add a nav mesh agent to the bear game object, which will match this bear. So I think we're set. Oh yeah, and we don't want to see that blue all the time, so you go back to here and you turn it off. And sometimes they're called gizmos. It has a whole bunch of gizmos. You can turn all of the gizmos off here, right? So sometimes you'll enable it here and you won't see it. And that's because gizmos is turned off. It looks like it's not working. Why they have 2, I don't know, but that's what they do. And here's all the gizmos, and you can Google them or read the documentation. So I'm going to turn them on by default and turn it off here. And so on. All right, that's it for this mini video. I will see you in the next video.